So here are pages 3 to 9 of Cloud Tea Monkeys, written by M. Peat and E. Graham. It was not long before they heard voices and laughter from where the road curved down the hill. Then the women came, their white headscarves glowing in the half-dark, their clothes bright patches of scarlet, green, indigo. Each woman carried a great wicker basket, bigger than Tashi. They called her name, their voices wobbly in the cold air. Her mother came out of the house, her back bent under the burden of her tea basket. The walk to the tea plantation was long, but for Tashi this was a happy part of the day. The women gossiped and made jokes about their husbands. The sun was kind too, laying warm patches on the road that were good to walk into out of the cold shadows. Later the sun would turn cruel, burning down from the hazy sky. When Tashi and her mother and the women arrived at the tea plantation, the overseer came out of his hut, yawning and scratching his belly. He was a bad-tempered man with a beaky nose and eyes like sharp little stones. The women stood silently while he told them what they already knew, what they had always known, to pick only the young leaves and the buds from the tops of each bush. Then they found their places and began plucking the tender leaves and buds and tossing them over their shoulders into the great wicker baskets. The rows of glossy green tea bushes curved into the distance like waves. Tashi had never seen the end of the plantation. Perhaps it had no end. Perhaps it went right around the world. Within an hour the sun had sucked the mist up out of the valleys and hung it like a great grey curtain over the tops of the mountains. Up there on those wild mountain tops above the cloud were things Tashi was afraid of, big cats with jade green eyes and snakes like yellow whips. As usual, the monkeys came down into the plantation late in the morning. Tashi knew they had arrived when she heard the overseer shouting like a crazy man and beating a tin cooking pot with a stick to drive them away. The women squealed and held their skirts tight to their legs as the monkeys, showing their teeth and grins of fear, fled down the rows of bushes. The big male monkey cat Tashi called Raja came first, then after him the younger males, and after them the mothers with their babies hanging beneath them or riding on their backs like jockeys in a horse race. Tashi grabbed her lunch bag and followed them. Tashi and the monkeys met in the usual place, where the endless rows of tea bushes were broken by a jumble of rocks, and the tree spread its shadow over the ground. Here she sat and crossed her legs. The monkeys watched her with their deep, serious eyes. After a while, the youngest ones left their mothers and came over to her. There was fruit in her lunch bag, and she shared it. The young monkeys inspected Tashi's fingers one by one. With their own long, delicate fingers, they groomed her thick, dark hair. The mothers relaxed, trusting her. They snoozed in small groups or flirted with the young males. Raja stalked around the edge of the tree shadow, watching everything. The women stopped work when the sun was a blurred red globe, hanging just above the rows of tea bushes. There was less talk on the way home. The women's tiredness was like a cloud around them. Tashi's mother had bruised-looking eyes. Her cough was worse. Once or twice she stopped walking and pressed her hand to her chest. Your task is to think about the setting, about the place where the story is set. What words did the authors use to make a powerful impact? Find some unfamiliar words that you don't know, write them down and find the definitions. You can use the dictionary or the online dictionary to help you. Then find powerful words that made a great impact on the reader's imagination. For example, on page 3, second sentence, it says, from where the road curved down the hill. Road curved. So curved usually is something that's round. So we can imagine that the road is not a straight path, but it actually goes around the hill. And that paints a powerful picture in the reader's mind. So you can use the word curved.